So today I have I don't even know what year. I think it's an early C6. I think it's one of the first years. But another C6 Corvette in here. This guy has a noise complaint, so it's a knocking kind of a sound. Now, originally he found that he had some trunnion or valve train failure. He puts new valve springs in it because he had one valve spring that was broken, and then he replaced all the trunnion bearings with a trunnion bushing. And it still has a bit of a tick to it, and it sounds like a very weak cylinder, if not a dead hole. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook my scanner up to it. I have it sitting right here. It's my generic auto, but I'm going to hook my scanner up to it, and then I'm going to look for misfire codes, etc., to try and identify which cylinder is the failure or problem cylinder. I hooked my lab scope up to it earlier. I have the relay out and I jump the starter, and then I use an amp clamp to see what the compression ratio looks like. In fact, I'll grab that quick. The last one I took wasn't what I wanted, but basically, so I look at these high and low points, whatever. The high spots are at the top of the compression stroke, and what I look for is a spot that's lower than the rest of them. Now, when I had it on a different scale, it was down lower, and everything was smaller and harder to see, less visible. But I did notice one was a little bit lower than the rest of them. So I think I either have like a crushed rod bearing, maybe a bad pin, wrist pin, or a very small valve train leak, like a bent valve that's just bent only a little bit, just barely, and leaking just a real small amount. So now what I have to do is find out which cylinder that is. It was hard to see in the lab scope, so I'm not going to go through the trouble of identifying, which cylinder, firing order, all that crap. It has an engine code, so I'm just going to go for the engine code and see if I can find the misfire code. I'm in hopes there's a misfire code, and then go after whatever cylinder it sees as a misfiring cylinder. So that's my next step here. So this is a bit interesting. Looking at all the codes here now. A lot of these could be unrelated or old codes from who knows what or when. This guy does not have a scanner, I don't believe, so him pulling his own codes and erasing things isn't very likely. So we have O2 sensor codes. We have, let's see here, heater control circuit on both of them. In the rear, we have heater performance in the rear on both of them, which I know what that is. He's probably got them removed on this particular vehicle. And we got an engine misfire detected, but that's a random misfire, so it's just P300, PO300. Misfire, rough road data not available. That is an interesting code to me because I don't think I've ever seen that. Engine coolant temperature sensor, circuit high voltage. Maybe somebody unplugged it, forgot to plug it back in when they keyed it up. I don't know. Actually, I could look at that quick. Oh, it's broken. So the actual coolant temp sensor has a broken shell there. Okay. Ignition coil 3 control circuit. So either a bad plug, or maybe he left one. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 3. Look at this. Let's plug that in. It's not plugging in. Aha. The connector wasn't. There we go. Well, there's that problem. Okay, well, there's the misfire that I felt, and the reason why it ran like crap. And then a throttle closed position performance, a high-speed CAN communication bus. Now that throttle control, that's likely a sticky throttle. Probably just needs to be cleaned out, which isn't a very big deal. So I'm going to go ahead now and fire the car up. See if that engine light's on. It shouldn't be on anymore because I just cleared the codes. And then see if it feels better. See if it feels like it's running right, I guess. definitely runs a hell of a lot better now. So I might actually take it for a drive with it. That low cylinder with the low pressure on my lab scope, that could have simply been a washed out cylinder. So the fuel will be spraying in the one with the coil that wasn't plugged in all the way, and when it does that, it washes the cylinders off, so it'll be so fuel soaked that there won't be any oil on the rings, and when there's no oil on the rings, it won't be able to seal properly. So since it was such a small amount of compression loss, it's a very good possibility that that's all it was, just a washed out cylinder. Alright, so I forgot to take video. I'm actually doing the car outside right now, so totally forgot. But I'll grab the camera for the rest of it here. Anyway, so I just got done taking all the rockers off and checking to figure out if there's any obvious problems there, you know. I looked at the valve train, pulled and tugged on all the valves to see if there's any excessive side-to-side movement from worn valve guides, anything like that. And then while having all the rockers off, I did a cylinder leak down test, because I'll know if the cylinder goes down to the bottom, and I'll be able to justify whether it's ring issues or not based off of that as it's going down. But the valves are all fully sealed. There's no way they're going to leak unless there's an actual problem, simply because they're closed, right? You know, the rockers are off, they're not going to be open. So all the valves were sealed 100% on this car. So I figure I got them off. I'm going to do all that testing anyway, regardless of finding the loose part. I'd rather make sure before I put it all back together and then find out that wasn't the rattle in the first place. So my next step now is I'm going to do a compression test on all these while the valve cover's off, so I can watch everything move. Maybe I'll see something, maybe I won't. Probably not. But I'll at least watch the compression ratio and see how they go. 200, that's pretty damn good. Got 200 again, consistent. I'll just go ahead and do the rest of them. This car that's about to drive by has been trying to get my attention. Yeah, ever since he saw me park out here, there's a C5 Corvette that just keeps going back and forth. It's kind of funny. He makes noise every time he takes off. That time was pretty mild compared to what he's been doing. But it's funny how people will do that. They see another similar car. It's a silver, but C5, and they start acting up all goofy. People are strange. Alright, that all looks good. So we'll put it back together, fire it up, and then see if we got any more noise, or if that rocker was all it was. If we still have noise, there's likely a bearing issue in the bottom of the motor. Now when I was looking for the noise on this thing, I was taking my stethoscope going all over the place. And it was specifically on this side. It didn't matter if I was on top of the motor or the bottom of the motor. And the speed of it would go back and forth between a valve train speed and a rotating assembly speed. So the rotating assembly on the bottom spins twice as fast as the valve train does. And it would go, you know, a tick, 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 and then it would go tick, 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 tick. I was like, what the hell, you know? Because it kind of went back and forth between that. But it definitely sounded like a mechanical noise. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but maybe this rocker was moving around. I don't know. I don't know. It was weird. Regardless, I'll throw it back together. Alright, fire it up, park it, see if it makes the noise. Still got the noise. probably end up checking the other side, just in case there's one more rocker loose. But aside from that, if I don't see anything, I'm going to have to say it's in the bottom end. That's unfortunate. I mean, this guy's going to need some major work, but he did get a lot of mileage out of this motor. 108,000, and they're really hard miles. He beats the crap out of this car from time to time, so I don't think he'd be too disappointed at least. Okay, so here we are on the other side. I don't think I'm going to find anything. I'm only on here because the other side had, this side over here, it had a loose bolt for the trunnion, or the rocker. So I'm going to go ahead and just double check, make sure all these ones are tight. I did not do the rockers or trunnions on this car, and apparently this guy, when he did it, he didn't torque anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure they're all torqued properly. I'm going to take and I'm going to crack them loose, unless they're already loose, and then go ahead and torque them. Okay, taking them loose, I noticed they were uneven. Some of them took quite a bit to get them to crack free, others took less, but none of them were actually loose. So I'm just going to go ahead and torque them all now. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the car back together. I just wanted to make sure those were okay. The source of the noise, like I said earlier, was mostly coming from the other side. I could not hear it at all on this head. I just wanted to verify that all the bolts were tight from the fact that he had one loose on the other side. I'm going to inspect all these springs just to make sure I don't see something weird, and then go ahead and throw it back together. But after I get it together, I guess the conclusion is going to be that it's on the bottom end of the motor, the noise that I'm hearing. It doesn't appear to have anything up top. Now, the only way it could be something up top if it was something odd, like a valve seat. I've seen seats fall out. I actually had one in one of my videos recently. But I don't think there's a valve seat issue. I can't verify that. I mean, there's no real way to know unless it was that bad. I did compare with a flat edge on the other side, looking for uneven valve train. Maybe one intake was lower than the other intake or something of that nature, and that would tell me that, hey, maybe that valve is stuck, pulled down because the seat's not all the way in. But most likely, even if it had a bad seat, that seat would still go right back in. It just keep going back and forth until finally it came all the way out on one time when the valve came open, and then it smashed it on its way back up, and catastrophic failure like the engine I had before. So I can't verify that being an issue unless the cylinder heads are off or there's something obvious, and I saw nothing obvious. So I guess I'm pretty much at this point saying it's on the bottom end, unless there's a weird head scenario, which you would find out on the way to doing the bottom end, because you'd have to pull the heads and everything off anyway. So now when this guy brought the car in, I noticed he had a couple of those bolts missing on the other side, and I suggested to him, I offered him to fix those threads, peel, coil them, whatever, but I know I have another set of valve covers, so I may offer that instead. We'll see. But I'm going to possibly be pulling this motor apart, so I'm not going to waste my time on them anyway right now, because it doesn't make sense if I'm going to end up pulling the motor apart anyway. I'm going to go ahead and see what he wants to do, and then we'll go from there, I guess. Okay, I got that Corvette out. He's going to be coming to pick it up. We had a conversation. He decided he's going to drive it, take it to an event called Power Cruise, and just rock it until it blows up, or if it makes it, it makes it. But over the winter, he's decided he's probably going to do some kind of a build, whether it be doing something a little more fun or stockish or whatever. But he's gonna evaluate that over the next, I don't know, month or two or whatever, and then come winter we'll be doing something fun to it, and you guys will get a chance to see what goes on under the hood of that one. I know he's not the kind of guy who goes for power adders, so it's not likely I'll be doing a supercharger or anything like that. We may do some kind of really awesome NA build with lesser lift, because he wants it to be very reliable. So we might do like a large cube 600 lift build or something, but we'll see. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens here. Yeah, basically that's the end of the day on that car. I have a few more to do today, but that's the end of that video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I haven't posted a video in a while. That's because I've been working on a little top secret something or other. It's a vehicle that somebody wants it left unknown. They don't want anybody to know what's going on with the vehicle. So it's just, it still takes time, and that's the reason for no videos as of lately. So if you guys enjoyed, subscribe, like, share, you know the deal. So we'll see you on the next video. I will be making one on a wheel bearing very soon. Thank you for watching.